Hi guys, it's Jess with Make It Monday number 4. This week we are starting off with a standard size piece of spring moss cardstock from Paper Tray Ink. And I'm inking up the large fabric background stamp from Hero Arts with Jenny Bolin Stick Candy. They're a pretty good match, it's just a hair darker than that. Now I'm taking Ranger Perfect Pearls in the Perfect Pearl color, it's the white plain color, and just dusting it all over the piece while the ink is still wet. Next we're going to do that same process again on a piece of cream cardstock, except instead of using Stick Candy, I'm using Versamark ink for sort of a tone-on-tone look. And it really doesn't show up here in the video that I've even stamped anything on there. But when I start to use the Perfect Pearls on there, it sort of takes on a white color. You can kind of see it there in the sun a little bit. But this is a really subtle technique, so it's not a huge, effect. Now I'm stamping the Just Saying Hello sentiment from the Hero Art Cling Message set in Jenny Bolin's Stick Candy and cutting it out. Now I have that same spring moss cardstock from PTI, and I'm just rubbing that Stick Candy ink on there, and just to kind of saturate the whole piece of cardstock and get a solid color green. Now I'm going to dust the whole thing with Perfect Pearls to give it that pearlescent shine, and it really doesn't show up on the video, but in real life it's super shiny. Now what I'm going to do is flip over the piece of cardstock there and restamp the Just Saying Hello. And I'm not actually going to use that, but I want to make sort of a bigger label like that. So I'm just going to cut around it. This isn't perfect. It's not, as if I would use like a nestability die or something. But this is a technique that works good in a pinch, just to kind of cut around the stamped image so you have a bit of a larger mat to mat your sentiment on. Now I am just going around with a nail file. This one's actually from a basic gray file set, and filing the edges so you can kind of see the original cardstock color peek through the ink color. Now we are going to start putting the whole thing together. I am just attaching the background with my ATG, and it is a 1/4 of an inch mat, and luckily I hadn't pushed down too hard because it wasn't even, so I had to kind of go back and rip it up a little bit. Now I just sewed with my sewing machine around the outside. You can see that border there. I don't use my sewing machine a lot, but I really like the look of it, so I might start to use that more in my card making. Now I'm just kind of tying up those loose ends back there. I put a little piece of adhesive on a matching piece of cardstock just to kind of cover up those ends in the back there. Now I'm going to put the whole thing together. I am using a lot of dimensional adhesive, and I'm putting that on my first mat there. You can see the image that we cut around in the back there. And I would use the bigger ones, but I'm out, so I was stuck to use the little ones. And I'm just placing it just inside of the sewed border, the stitched border there. And now some more dimensionals on the sentiment. And that goes right onto the mat. And I felt like it just needed a little finishing touch, so I grabbed a few pearls and put those in the top corner there, and that sort of wrapped up the whole card. Pretty simple this week, pretty pearly and shiny and a little more girly than I usually do, so that was kind of fun too. Thanks so much for watching, and for more, check out my blog, jesslarson.blogspot.com.